Six Flags Fiesta, Texas shocked enthusiasts everywhere when it announced Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger, the world's steepest dive coaster, with a drop of 95 degrees. This makes it the steepest B&M coaster ever built. In this video, I will be discussing the ride backstory and stats and giving my thoughts on it, as well as the teaser campaign that led to it. Before we dive in, though, I would like to talk about Dr. Diabolical, who, contrary to many enthusiasts' belief, is not an original character created by Six Flags, but rather a DC character who basically everyone has forgotten about. So, who is Dr. Diabolical, and why did they name a ride after them? The story is long, but pretty interesting. Dr. Diabolical was a mad scientist and an enemy of the Inferior Five, according to the DC fandom. He only appeared in one comic book story, Inferior 5 number 7, where he had apparently constructed a mechanical old lady to hide behind. His whole thing was sort of steampunk-esque, making steampunk the perfect theme for the teaser campaign Six Flags Fiesta Texas put on, which, other than steampunk, had no similarities to the character whatsoever. Teasing began at Roller Coaster Rodeo on June 12th, when guests were treated to a steampunk-themed parade and a blimp that said 2022. Afterwards, a banner was unveiled that said, "The Gates of Fear will open," and 2022. On this banner, there was a phone number you could call. The number was 1-833-733-7968 or 1-833-SEES-YOU. So right off the bat, Six Flags was really hammering home the horror theme. When you called, the message would say this: "Why, hello. It's nice to hear from you again, my frightened friend. I can feel you trembling through the phone. It's clear that the unknown terror that is about to rain down upon the world is driving you mad. But don't fret, the time is near. Fear is inching its way closer and closer. Soon, evil will replace good, and the horrific vision I have for the human race will become a reality. Prepare now for the wickedness that will soon be coming. Call back soon if you dare. I know you will." Then, in July, the message was changed to say this: "Welcome, my mortified mate. I'm glad you've called, because Dr. D has an announcement to make. My reign of dastardly deeds is over. Terror has become tiresome. In the battle between good and evil, good has won. To make amends for my villainous ways, I come to you with a generous gift: eternal life. While working in my lab, I discovered a mysterious elixir that made my old shriveled heart feel young again. Come, take this offering, restore, rejuvenate, and reverse aging. We shall live forever." At the FT92 fan event, Park President Jeffrey Siebert was seemingly interrupted by some odd images on the big screen behind him. These consisted of a plague doctor mask, a bottle with some fluid in it, and the words "I see yous." belled out. There was a carnival setting behind him, and these 4 workers who looked like Halloween characters came out carrying a giant cage, which had cloth that they lowered down around it. And when the cloth dropped, the actress who was playing Dr. Diabolical was standing in the cage wearing her costume and makeup. And she proceeded to read the second phone message with some minor modifications, and when Jeffrey Siebert said that it was very nice of her, she laughed and said that they'd all been duped and they're going to live forever in fear, before revealing the name of the ride, Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger. Afterwards, she left, and Jeffrey Siebert took over to give some of the stats about the ride. It will be a B&M dive coaster with a height of 150 feet and a drop angle of 95 degrees. It will seat 7 people in 3 rows, so each train will hold 21 riders. It's towards the middle of the pack in height and back of the pack in speed, but it's leading the pack in angle of descent with the steepest drop on any dive coaster or any B&M coaster, period. So it's actually pretty impressive for its size. And guests there were also treated to the POV of the ride, which looks really good. When the ride first starts, guests are going to make a left-hand turn and start climbing up the 150-foot lift hill. Now, this is basically the standard dive coaster lift hill, so I won't really go into too much detail, but I do want to talk about that drop, because the cliff holder hanging brake, according to Jeffrey Siebert, is going to be at the very beginning of the 95-degree drop, meaning that you're probably going to be held at 95 degrees, so that might be where the negative 1.5 G's will kick in. Anyway, after that holding brake, you are going to drop and go straight into the Immelman and a 270 degree 0G roll. So far, a pretty basic layout. Then you're going to turn into the mid-course brake run, which is the standard dive coaster mid-course brake run that really slows you down. And then you're going to drop off the brake run, make a left-hand helix into an airtime hill similar to the one found on Valraven. So if you've ridden Valraven, you probably know what this hill will feel like. Then you're going to make a right-hand helix into the brakes, and your ride will be over. I think this looks like a really good ride. A little short, but that's to be expected from a Six Flags ride. I mean, it's not Cedar Fair, but to all those complaining, it's a solid coaster. Thanks for watching. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at CoasterRanter, and I'll see you all next time when I analyze King's Dominion's new for 2022 coaster.